When we think about all the ways that they say there is to get to heaven these days, you can just do whatever you want, live however you want, be however you want. I gotta go on record and say, there's only one way that you can even enter the presence of God, let alone make it to heaven. There's only even one way He fellowships with us. And there's only one reason that can make it possible. So the name of this song is Into the Presence of God by the Blood of the Lamb. Ever since Adam and Eve fell, the way was barred with a flaming sword. Ever since Adam and Eve fell, the way home. Ever since Adam and Eve fell in the Garden of Eden a long time ago. Ever since Adam and Eve fell, it required a sacrifice. They came into the presence of the Lord by the blood of the Lamb. Something had to die for your sin. They came into the presence of the Great One by the blood of the Lamb. A little spotless, blemishless male lamb. They had to kill it for their own sin. And the more men, the more lambs that were slain. They had to kill it because they didn't heed the words of warning in the Garden of Eden. Then their genes were changed to pass down sin to you and I. That's why it continued all the way into the Lord Himself made the sacrifice. All the way until the Lord Himself became the spotless Lamb. Oh, here He comes. Oh, the great I am. Oh, here He comes. The faultless, spotless Lamb of God. Here He comes. That day He hung His head on Calvary after being beaten beyond recognition. That day He hung His head on Calvary is the only reason you and I can fellowship with God. That day He hung His head on Calvary. He said, "It is finished." The sacrifice was done. Many say there's many ways to get to heaven. They think they're okay 'cause they can hear the Lord. They said, God speaks to me, I don't need your religion. God speaks to me, I don't need your sacrifice. But I'm here to tell you that nothing but the bloodless Lamb would suffice. So He sent His only Son to die for you and for me. He robed Himself in flesh and became the Son of Man, that you and I could fellowship with Him. Into the presence of God by the blood of the Lamb. It hasn't changed much really since Adam and Eve, but many will tell you there's another way, and I say to them, just to the Lord cleave into the presence of God by the blood of the Lamb. That's the only way man can even fellowship with Him. Into the presence of God by the blood of the Lamb. That's the only way man can even fellowship with Him. All the way from the Garden of Eden, from Adam and Eve to eternity, the price had to be paid for transgression. Can't you just hear the royal procession as the King lays down his crown and comes among you and me? Every year we sing about his birth, but do we really know his worth? Every year we sing about his sacrifice, but it was only his precious blood that would suffice. It was only his precious blood that would suffice. Into the presence of God by the blood of the Lamb. It hasn't changed much since Adam and Eve. Into the presence of God by the blood of the Lamb. There's only one way to regain that which we lost. That is to be his disciple and count the cost. It costs blood, it costs a lot of blood to cleanse sin. It costs a lot for God to say, welcome in. Come home, my child, the price has been paid. And why do we dismay? Many say there are many ways to God, 'cause I can hear his voice, I can hear him calling to me. But what they fail to realize is the blood sacrifice. All the way from Adam and Eve to eternity. That precious blood, it does cleanse from sin. It wasn't the blood of goats and lambs, but the faultless, spotless Lamb of God. Into the presence of God by the blood of the Lamb.